All right, so here we are, 1 week into the new year, and on our 8th day of the Daily Dao. And so first, I would love for you just to reflect a little bit on what has this week been like. Some of you have been participating in the Daily Dao regularly. Some haven't, and that's fine too. Bye, Betsy. But just reflecting on what has the first week of 2023 been like for you. And you can just take a couple of minutes to maybe write that down or just sit with that. And then the next thing that we're going to do is kind of reflect on these first 8 verses and just see if there's any wisdom that really stood out to you. Okay. So, yeah, just a couple minutes of reflection on like this, how 2023 has gotten started. Okay, now our second inquiry question is reflecting on any of the verses. And if you, it's just this verse from today, verse 8, which has plenty of deep wisdom in it. Just reflect on what of that, maybe it's one line that stood out for you. You could just kind of reflect again. I'm going to give you a little more time, about 2 minutes, just to reflect on what jumps out, what jewels of wisdom. And if you've been participating more regularly, you can go back through the Daily Dao feed and look at the verses, or just from memory think, oh, this part really stood out for me. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to kind of look, reflect, consider. And the last little inquiry question that I'm going to guide before I say a few words and then invite you to share is simply looking ahead. You know, we're 8 days into the year, looking ahead in the coming weeks. Where do you believe you're heading? Right? What is the kind of, if you're setting your compass now in this first week of the year, reflect on where you're headed, sort of where you'd like to be. This course itself lasts until March 22nd. So it really carries us through the whole beginning of the year. What would you like to, where would you like to be by then? Okay. All right. So I'm going to say a few words. Obviously, these are just dips into some reflection that you can continue doing. And I am going to invite you to share anything that really stood out, or anything that you think that the group would like to hear, or just, yeah, any wisdom that's feeling forefront for you. It also really helps me as a facilitator when I hear from you guys about what is working and what isn't, what's exciting, what's not, um, what's effective for you. So I'll just say that I'm continuing to just love being here in this on this really nice regular rhythm. It's just been very the routine of it has been really helpful for me personally, and that feeling of ease that comes when we get in a rhythm, and then the rhythm kind of takes us with us. And I feel like I'm not having to put as much effort into getting up early, showing up, etc. Um, some of the wisdom from this, and also, well, also seeing some of you guys regularly, and then seeing some people like Bill this morning, but people I haven't seen in a while. And I think the regularity of it also just makes it more accessible for other people, so that our village gets visited more, which is nice, right? But a piece of wisdom from this week that I feel like is really appropriate to highlight today is from verse 6, which we read a couple days ago. Uh, the Tao is called the Great Mother, empty yet inexhaustible. It gives birth to infinite worlds. It is present within you. You can use it any way you want. And I was thinking about this, especially as the course goes forward and our meditations grow longer. I wanted to. Oh, that's great. That's great. I'm going to share that in a second, Bill. Especially as we go forward with these and these meditations become longer, I'm going to be really encouraging everyone to think of the course itself as like that, the series itself as you can use it any way you want. Of course, the verse is talking about this aspect of the self and of reality that is pure potential, and that is impossible to conceive of how powerful and full that potential is. It gives birth to infinite worlds. What does that even mean? Um, but this empty yet inexhaustible source that we call the Tao is actually what we are and have always been. And so that's what this verse is talking about. But in the way that I designed all of this, I also, and in the way that really I give all of my offerings, is you can use this how you want. On your end, whatever you were doing internally in that 8 minutes, that was yours. That was your space, your time. I love to give guidance. I love to give support. But ultimately, only you know what you need. Only you know where you are in your practice. You might not know it consciously, right? Only you are getting those direct reports from your own internal system. You're the one who is connected to the universe through this embodied human form. And I really encourage you to embrace that. If it's empty yet inexhaustible, if you can use it however you want, you have to kind of play and learn how you want to use it. Experiment. And for those people who choose to participate as we move on, and a meditation might be 30 minutes, then 40, 50, eventually 80. I'm not suggesting that everybody wants to sit necessarily, or needs to, or that it's even that beneficial for someone to sit in a seated meditation for 70 minutes, say. So I am going to be encouraging people to use that time to go back and reflect on some of the verses you loved, to do a physical practice, to find some other way to use that concentrated, where we collect and gather into our practice space together, um, to really figure out what is it that I need out of this, and to sort of fill the shape of your practice, fill the shape of this time we spent together in a way that feels most satisfying and nourishing. The supreme good is like water, which nourishes all things without trying to. This verse that we read today, so much about simplicity, so beautiful, right? And the effortlessness, right, nourishes all things without trying to. You know, life completely depends on this stuff, right? And it's so unself-conscious in it just being itself, right? When you are content to simply be yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you. And that's been something that's really hard for me sometimes, or often, to compare. They have more than me. I'm behind. Uh, do I measure up? Compete, right? That anxiety that we have, we're trying to be something that we're not yet. Um, and this is a theme that I talked about on Wednesday as well, is what does it feel like to just be in this moment, in this step? And what if we were perfectly empowered and aligned in this moment? We're not waiting for the finish line. We're not waiting till we win. We're not waiting till we compare the highest of those among us. Right now, right here, it is present within you. You can use it any way you want. All right. Those are my little reflections. Bill wrote in, I have to really work at not being controlling. This reminded me that I can be willing to listen and to make decisions with input. Yeah, I love that. I love that. I struggle with that too, Bill. I do. And, you know, throughout every day there, I catch myself in these moments. Aaron, you're trying to control the car in front of you. You're trying to control, this, control the world. And that actually keeps me from being in, like, as you say, in that listening, responsive place. We already know how things should be. They're already wrong. That means we can't actually perceive and do that informed reflection that allows us to make decisions with input, as you put it. I love that. Thank you. It looks like Sage is typing in something too. Anybody else? It's kind of last call to go ahead and just type in anything that you want to share before we close this little reflection circle. And obviously, the journey continues, and you can always add comments and reflections in the posts that I share and participate that way. And I really do encourage you to continue just to be sitting with these verses throughout the day. And if one really captures you, say verse 8, something in that, man, you really you need to sit with that. Carry it with you. Keep it, print it out, put it in your pocket. Reflect on it. These things I read this book more times than I just read it over and over and over again. And it keeps revealing wisdom that I couldn't see or receive the first time, right? Sage says, this resonates with me. In conflict, be fair and generous. I'm working on advocating for myself and struggle with conflict in my personal life. So this line is about, for me, knowing when to walk away too, for my own peace that is generous to me and the other person. In my job, I'm strong, not so much in my personal life. Yeah, that makes sense to me, Sage. That last bit, we all wear hats. We all have positions. And I'm like that too. There are certain spaces where I feel very much in charge and confident and sort of in there's a line from this that says sort of hold on to the center, right? There are times when I feel like I'm centered. So all my interactions are really in tune and in flow. And I'm the same and often, and it's in my personal life, there's some relationships and scenarios where I don't feel centered. Yeah. So, and I love that. So this line, in conflict, be fair and generous. What Sage is saying that is really profound is you have to be fair and generous with yourself as well. Fairness. What is fairness? What is evenness? What is equanimity? What is justice? Those scales of justice. It's about balance. It's about fairness. It's about one person doesn't get away with being demanding and mean all the time, and the other person just has to deal with it, right? That's not fair. We want there to be we don't want there to be double standards. And what I've learned is that I have had a double standard for my life that's kind of backwards from people that we might call more selfish, but it was my own way of trying to be valuable, I think, and loved. But anyway, that I will actually put myself through an unfair amount of effort or duress or conflict or whatever it is, more so than it, like when I coach people or help other people, I would never tell them, or just talking to a friend, I would say, walk away. But often it's, I don't hold that standard for myself. And that's a huge thing. I'm also very actively working on in my life stage. Huge, huge thing. Is seeing that actually I'm not separate from that, from who needs to be treated with fairness and generosity. All right. We have come up against our time for today. And like I said, I encourage you to just keep this work going, keep in touch, and keep just striding right into 2023, one centered step at a time, one present moment at a time. Oh, so good. Oh, enjoy the ocean. I'm jealous, Sage. Have a wonderful Sunday, everybody. Have a wonderful start to your week. And I'm looking forward to continuing this journey with you guys. Thanks, Phil. Bye, everybody.